Okay, so we begin, and our book is Word Power Made Easy, which will finish probably in 1 month. And the first thing which I want to tell you about, like why this book is important, and what is the content of this book. Because I have seen many people who have this book, but they find it very difficult to finish it, and maybe they have some misconceptions also about this book, what this book is actually about. So first thing which I want to tell you is that this is not a vocabulary book. Although the word or the title which it has, it is saying that it's word power made easy, but it is a bit misleading. It is not it is of course about the vocabulary. It will give you so many words, but it is not simply about vocabulary. So don't be misled by its title. And in fact, in reality, it's a comprehensive package. It will give you grammar also. It will teach you spelling also. It will teach you pronunciation. It will teach you the syntax also. In short, it will teach you every aspect of English language, how it works. So it's a comprehensive package, and it's not just vocabulary. So many people don't just buy it or don't just finish it because they think that it is a vocabulary book and it will give you a list of maybe few hundred words and that you have to memorize. No, it's not like that, and it's not like a dictionary. It's a complete package. And when we go through it and when we finish it, and then we will come to know what this book stands for. Okay, so it's comprehensive package, and I will let you know what this book contains and how this is helpful for anybody who is learning English or going for any competitive exam. So first thing is that this book will give you ideas. It will not give you more appropriately simply words, but it will give you so many ideas. And ideas are there, and then it will give you certain terms also. So there will be so many ideas and so many concepts from your life, and it will provide you just one word or one term for a group of number of different ideas. So the point is that it will make your speech economical. And what do I mean by economical? Because this is the age of brevity. We want to speak less. We want to speak so many things, but in less words. So that is the demand, or that is the thing which we need to learn in English language. So it will teach you how to be economical in words. So many ideas will be there, but it will give you just one concept. So it's pretty much like one word substitution for a cluster of big ideas. So it will make your thinking precise and brief. And then I come to precision. And so by precision, I mean there will be many similar words which can be used to describe a simple situation. But those similar words will have certain differences also. So they will be used in different contexts. So what this book will teach you is to how to be precise, like which word to use in which context. So unless we know about the precision of English words, it's very difficult for us to use English language in our life. So which word is suitable in which context, it will teach you that also. So how to be economical and how to be precise. And when you are economical and precise, then you have confidence in your words, that which word you have to use when. And finally, when you have more and more words with you, then your overall listening and reading is enhanced. So comprehension, overall comprehension is also enhanced. And there is one thing which I have been telling always my students, which is called the vicious cycle of vocabulary deficiency. So what is that? So it's actually like this. Many of you might know about this. Now we have one more person who wants to come into the classroom. Hmm. It's okay. Okay. Who is there? Please unmute yourself. Anyway, so I come back to this vicious cycle of vocabulary deficiency. So what is this concept? That you might have heard from your friends and from your colleagues that whenever you want to learn English language, they ask you that you read something, or maybe you read newspaper, or you read books or novels, or they might suggest you that watch movies. So they can give you a number of different advices when you ask them that how to improve my vocabulary. But the point is that when you start doing or start practicing their advices, let's say reading newspaper, then you find that you somehow you lack in vocabulary. So you don't have a number of good words. So if you're reading any article, you will have to look into the dictionary so many times. So what happens when you start reading something, you fall short of certain words, and when you don't have certain words or a good amount of words, then you don't study, or then you don't read anything. And when you don't read anything, then there will be no addition in your vocabulary. So you see how this circle operates. This is a vicious circle. So you have less words, you cannot read anything, and then you cannot add any words in your lifestyle. So you get somehow stuck in your vocabulary deficiency and its circle. So, and what is the solution? If you are a native, then you are bombarded with so many words from your environment. But if you're not a native person and if your environment is not English, then it's very difficult to acquire a large amount of vocabulary. So the strange solution is that somehow if we get maybe 1000 words or maybe 2000 words from somewhere, then we can easily read or listen or watch anything. And then when we watch anything or read anything, then it will give us some more new words also. So in that way we can overcome this vicious cycle of vocabulary deficiency. But the once again the big question is that how we'll get those 1000 words or 2000 words. So in that case this book will help you. So this book, if you work honestly with this book for 1 month, it will give you 1000 or 2000 new words, and with the help of those words you can read almost anything in simple English. And then your vocabulary, you will see that it will start enhancing and it will start increasing. So this is how you can overcome this vicious cycle of vocabulary deficiency. Otherwise it's very difficult to acquire this group or this list of 1000 or 2000 words. So how will you get it? So the only solution is that you get it from a book like this. Okay, finally it will make you a better writer also. Once you read more, once you listen so many things, then you will become a perfect writer also. So finally we say that this success, this corresponds with your vocabulary. So no matter in which field you are, it is the amount of your vocabulary or the precision of your language which decides your success. So success, it is said, and vocabulary, they go hand in hand. And by vocabulary, I do not mean just list of words, but a complete command over language. So this book is going to give us a comprehensive overview of English language, how it operates, and it will, I hope and I really wish that it will contribute to some extent to your success in whatever field you are. Okay, now there is just one big condition which needs to be fulfilled if you want to derive all these benefits which I have just mentioned. And that one big condition is that you need to finish this book. That's the only big condition, because if you have this book, you must be holding it in your hand on your, or it must be on your table. And if you see, it's a very fat book, 600 or 700 pages, and it's a great task. It requires strength and vigor. So the only condition is that somehow if we finish it, then we can do it. So what I would suggest that we all stick with a plan, and we try to finish it as soon as possible. So we'll need to finish this. Until we finish, we won't see any benefits from it. And there are many problems which we get in finishing this book. Now, I would just like to mention two of those problems. One problem is that it has a theory part along with a practical. So when you read the theory part, and if you are a beginner in English, then it's very difficult for you to make sense of what is written in the theory part. So if you can already understand from the sentences or from the words which are there in the theory or explanation part, then I would assume that you already know English to some extent. But for a beginner, it's very difficult to understand the theory part. And when you miss the theory part completely, then it's very difficult for you to practice the exercises which are given there. So that's one big problem which all the readers of this book face. And another one big important problem is there that see, somehow if you start reading it and start practicing it on your own, then there are some chapters in this book, maybe from 10 to 15 or 5 to 10 chapters are there, which are about medical terminologies. So they might not be of interest to everybody. We'll do those chapters also, but the point is that many people find those chapters non-interesting, so they ultimately get fed up of this book and leave it. And I would suggest you don't do that, because we will try to finish those chapters, and the real benefits of this book lie in the second half of this book. So first few chapters will be or might be a bit boring, but you need to, or we need to bear those things. And once we cross those chapters, it will get interesting, and you will get the addiction of it, and you will get the hang of this book. Okay, so we'll have to cross that particular hurdle also. If we cross that, agar thoda sa, if we have patience, then we'll get the addiction of this book, and then we can easily finish this. So this is the final and big condition, that we have to somehow stick to this book, or stick to whatever plan we make, and then we can finish it. Okay, so this overview was about the benefits which you get from this book. And Now I must tell you a little bit about the methodology of this book, like how this book is structured and what you will learn from that structure and how we will also proceed. So if you look at the contents of this book, so it has many sessions. Maybe there are 20 or 25 sessions, I'm not sure. Let me look in the book. Yes, okay, it has 19 sessions. So it has 19 sessions, and each session has some chapters. So overall you have 47 chapters. And of course this 47 includes some individual tests also. But anywhere you have somewhere between 40 to 45 different chapters which are divided in 19 sessions. So one session will particularly focus on a general idea, and then we have different chapters within sessions. And they also, all the chapters will have one theory part, and then it will have one practical part, all the chapters. So what my task here will be that I will teach you the theory part and leave you to engage with the practical part. And then when next time we hold the session, then I'll give you the answers also of the practical, and I'll try to explain also question by question what the answer could be. And if you have any problem also in practicing the exercises, then also we can discuss individually. So this is the overall structure of this book. And let me come to the theory part. What is there in the theory part? How this work or this book operates? So one thing is there which is called morphology. If you can see here. So morphology is to understand the structure of words. Now this approach you might find completely different and maybe fascinating also. So this will give you some hint how this is not an ordinary vocabulary book but an special one. So morphology is the study of structure of words, and within a structure we study etymology. And now etymology is about the origin of words, how the word originates, or we talk about its derivation. Okay, and within derivation we have three important things that this book will talk about. First is the root that you will get. So any word is there, it will have certain roots. It will have one main root, and then it will have certain prefixes, and then it will have certain suffixes also. So prefixes are the words or syllables which are added in the beginning of the word, and then we have the root, and then we have the suffix. So we know it basically. This is pratyay and this is upsarg, and then we have the root word also. So we'll try to build our vocabulary from this perspective. So morphology, we'll be dealing with morphology, not simply like I will not give you simply word and its word meaning. No, we'll go deep into the word and we'll try to derive other words also from some particular root and suffixes. So I'll give you examples, and then when we do the theory part, and you will get to know about this. So morphology is one important part which we'll be dealing with. Another thing is that we'll talk about the uses and misuses of words, because there are many words in English. Almost each and every word is there in English, which can be used also and which can be misused also. Like there are contexts in which a particular word is useful, and there are contexts in which a particular word should not be used. So we'll talk about those usages also. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult when we talk with people. what exactly words are there which has to be used in a certain context. So we talk about use and misuse also, and in that respect you just maybe you can note these two things, that words will have certain tones also. Okay, so broadly speaking there are positive and negative tones. So this also you must know, any word is there, what kind of tone it has. Is it neutral, is it positive, or is it negative? So good or bad connotation, any word is there, does it have good connotation or does it have bad connotation? So this is called connotation. What kind of flavor is there in the word? And good connotation is called complementary words. So there will be many words which will be complementary words, and there will be many words which are called derogatory words. So when we know the derogatory words, then we become very careful in using them, and we become very selective when to use those words. So derogatory connotation words have, and that we need to understand. And one more term is there which is called pejorative. So this is nothing but derogatory, another word for derogatory sense. So words have pejorative connotation also. So pejorative is also a kind of bad connotation, and it's a kind of, there is a hidden abuse in the words. So these two things are negative, and complementary is of course positive. So coming back to this uses and misuses. So this has to be understood, in which context and how do we classify words under complementary and derogatory terms. So these two things are very important. A word is there, what kind of idea is there within the word, that we'll get to know by morphology and by etymology and by the analysis of roots, prefixes and suffixes, and then we'll see its uses and its misuses also. So this is broadly which is there in the theory part, and this I will explain to you, and today I'll give you a demo also how we'll do it. So first 3 sessions we'll try to finish today, and based on whatever we discuss or whatever I describe here, you will have a number of practicals or exercises also. So there basically in your book you will have the review of your etymology, morphology, and you will have different matching exercises, and you will have different questions also, and based on the idea of the concept you will have to simply say yes or no. So you all will become familiar with this, no need to worry right now. So this you will get to do quite properly if you understand or if you follow the theory which I explain here. So I will explain you the theory, and in the book you don't need to, for the time being you don't need to read the theory part. You directly just jump to practical part, and based on whatever you understand here try to solve all the exercises, and I hope you will be able to solve all those exercises. And in the next session I'll quickly give you the answers, or we will discuss the answers, and if any one of you have any particular problem, and then we'll take up those problems also, and then we'll try to solve them also. Okay, so this way we'll do our revision also. So in each session I'll give you theory, and your homework will be to practice the exercises, and in the next session in the first few minutes we'll revise, we'll check the exercises, and then once again I'll delve deep into the theory part. So that's the methodology which this book follows, and my simple job is to give you or to ease your burden from reading the theory part, because this is the challenging thing for students, theory part. Okay, so now I'm going to cover very quickly session 1, and within session we have 3 chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5. I think we are going to finish today. It has certain words, it has certain ideas, maybe 10 or 20 words are there. I will try to explain them to you in a very easy way, and then you will do your exercises. So, session 1 and chapter 3, 4, 5, we are going to finish quite quickly. And I think when we have this Kushbu also with us, I'm admitting her. Okay, so I will take a break, and if you want to ask anything, maybe you can unmute yourself, and we have 2 or 5 minutes. If you have any problem or if you want to ask anything, let me know if you are following with me, or let me know if you have any confusion or you want to ask anything. Then we'll go to give you a demo of this theory part of chapter 3, 4, 5 that I'll do quickly. But before that, we take a break of 5 minutes. So all of you, let me know, are you following me?
Hello.
Hello, Khushbuji, you are quite late.
Yes. Sorry. Sorry for uh,
Being late.
this inconvenience from me, and I am right now here.
It's okay. We have
So
simply done the overview of the book and the methodology and the benefits. And then let others also speak if they want to ask anything. So whatever I just mentioned or discussed, did you all follow it? Or if you have any problem, then please ask, because we are just 5 or 6 people. We can have interactions also. Are you all here? Okay.
Yes, bro, I'm here.
okay. Okay. I have some queries.
Yeah.
That what did you taught, or what did you tell? Uh,
Okay.
so please,
I'll make a review also.
in brief, please.
Yeah.
Could you please
Yeah. I'll try.
explain?
I'll try. Okay. Others, are you following?
Yes,
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 we
we
are
are following.
following.
Okay. Okay. So for Khushbu, let me see. I talked about basically two things. One is the benefits that we get from this book, and second about the methodology of this book. Okay.
Okay, benefits and methodology.
Methodology, how this book is structured. So benefits, I will maybe I can skip, and methodology, which is important, that I want
Yes.
to tell you very briefly once again.
Hmm. Okay.
So it has one part which is theory and one which is practical. And within theory,
Hmm.
we have the analysis of words and analysis of ideas. And since you are from Sanskrit background, so you know it very well that we have to talk about the morphology of words, how the word
Hmm.
originates, how it is derived from certain roots. So there are simply three things. We will talk about
Hmm.
roots, and we will talk about prefixes, we'll talk about suffixes.
Okay. Hmm. Use and misuse.
Yeah. And once we know a certain root and prefix and suffix, then it
Hmm.
will open the door for us for many or maybe hundreds of other words also. Okay, so this approach is very important in learning vocabulary in a planned way. Otherwise, we skip these things.
Hmm.
And many words which are there in English language, you know it, that They are
Uh,
derived from Latin and Greek, and also from French a bit. So, but heavily we will rely on Greek and Latin. So this is one thing which is there in the theory part, and another thing is that uses and misuses. So there are things or there are words which have positive and negative connotation, or complementary and derogatory connotation. So we'll try to be clear about those things also. And one
which
more,
things? Actually, you were not audible properly. So please repeat it once again.
okay, maybe you can mute yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. So words have certain flavors. They have either positive tone or negative tone. That also we will learn in theory part. And certain words are complementary and certain words are derogatory. That also we need to know. And apart from that, I forgot to mention, there are things which are, or there are words which are formal in nature, and there are words which are informal in nature. So often we confuse among these words also, like words which are used or which should be used in informal way, we often confuse them and use them in a formal setting, and that is a big mistake, and that is a blunder which we should never commit. So we'll try to make some distinctions. Whenever it is applicable, I'll tell you whether it's a formal word or an informal word, and most of the words which are here are formal. So we should never mix up these kind of words, formal with informal and informal with formal. So we'll talk about uses and misuses, and we'll talk about morphology, etymology, roots, prefixes, and suffixes. And having explained the theory, you will have to go through the practical part only. You don't need to study theory because that will consume your time also, and that will make your study a bit boring also. And it's a huge fat book, so we have to quickly finish it also. So you have to skip the theory part in your book and simply you have to directly jump to practical part. And now I'm going to just give you a demo of what is there in the chapters 3, 4, and 5, which makes your session 1. Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Please ask Neeraj to mute.
Sorry.
नीरज को म्यूट करने को बोलो.
Okay. It's okay. Can you hear me now? Is it fine now?
Please mute yourself.
I'm trying to mute from here, but maybe you can unmute on your own. So I'm facing certain difficulties. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay, good. So now I directly jump to the theory part, and I'll cover chapter 1, 2, and 3. So you will have ample amount of exercises with you to practice. Okay, so we begin with ourself only, and some of these words are there which might be familiar to you also, and which might be once again new to you also, but something unique will be there that you will get to know these words from a different angle now. So in the first chapter, the book talks about this root, ego. So ego is a root from Greek. So I'll give you this symbol, root, ego. So this is a Greek word which simply means self. or the sense of I, or in Hindi or in Sanskrit we call it simply aham. Okay, our sense of ego, our sense of I is called ego. And from this root ego we have a number of different words. The book just mentions 5 or 6, but there can be any number of words and it can be used with any suffix, any prefix, and you can come across any word which consists of this word ego. But wherever you find this word ego, immediately you must be able to know or comprehend that it has something to do with self. So this is the meaning of the root. And then we simply talk about the ideas of these particular words which are given there. Now, one thing is egoist. So, an egoist is a person who is only concerned about himself. So, if there is a choice which an egoist has to make between the welfare of oneself or between the benefit of oneself and welfare of other people, then definitely he will choose himself. So these egoist people, they always talk about themselves and they always see their benefits and they do not care about other people's interests or concerns. So this is a simple idea of egoist, and you might be knowing also this word. But egoist, you come to know that it comes from this root, and this is the suffix here. So this is egoist, quite easy. Now we have another. So egoist simply means swarthi. Okay, I'll give you the Hindi words also. This makes things easy. So one is who is concerned about one's benefit all the times. He can be called an egoist. Now there is something called egotist also, which is slightly different from egoist. Now egotist is also is obsessed about his ego, and egoist is also full of his ego. But in egotist, we have this unique quality of pride, or another synonym is there which is called conceited. Okay, so egotist person is full of pride, or he boasts about his achievements. So if you
It's
accomplish,
like Swabhimani or
no, these are all derogative terms. Okay, negative terms, pejorative,
okay.
pejorative terms. Okay, so this is Swarthi, and this is when
Who,
you,
who is feel pride
yeah,
in his
sorry,
ego. I think egotist means he is feel pride in his ego.
yeah. See, I give you many examples. Maybe that might help you. See, suppose if you get something, if you achieve something, okay, and then you go on boasting about yourself that okay, I have achieved this, I am a very great person. You talk about your achievements a lot. So there are some people, if they achieve anything, so they talk about it to so many people all the times. So this is called being an egotist, so which is sharply different from egoist. Ego is simply swarthi, one who is talking about his own interest. But egotist is a man filled of pride, a man filled of conceit. And usually this person has got some achievement and he simply talks about his achievements. So Hindi word would be ahankari. Okay, and you see this word is different. Swarthi is somebody else, ahankari is somebody else. Okay, I hope this is clear.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes,
it
yes.
works.
Okay. And if you have any problem, then please ask. And both these things are pejorative terms, both these words. Okay, so use them carefully or use them only when you want to insult somebody. And you will find these kind of people always in the society who are egoist who think about their benefits only, and there are egotists also who talk about their accomplishments all the times. So we simply call them egoist and egotist respectively, right? So this is complete, these two words completely pejorative and derogative. Okay, now we have third word, which is egocentric, and this is a bit neutral. It has neutral tone. So ego, and you can see there is another word, this centric is there. So these people have a lifestyle in which they keep themselves at the center. So this is a figurative way of saying that whatever decisions you take in your life, how this is going to affect your career or your life, you think about, you take decisions based on what is there in that particular thing for you. So you become egocentric, and this is neutral because most people are like that. Okay, because many people are there who will take, or whenever they have to take any decision, they will think that what is there in their interest for them. So like, like students can be egocentric. Students in a classroom, or the competitors basically, when they have to compete with other students, so they make themselves the center of the entire thing, and what is in their benefit, they will take decisions accordingly. So one can be egocentric. Okay, atma kendrit one can be. So this is a bit neutral. We, almost all of us, are egocentric to some extent. Okay, so ego, see, so there is a very fine boundary between egocentric and being an egoist. So as long as you think about yourself and you talk or you plan about your self advancement, that is being an egocentric. But when you start harming other people, or when you start maligning other people, or when you don't care about other people in front of your interests, you become egoist. So egocentric person is normal, and egoist person a bit problematic. And of course, egotist is also a problematic person. So very thin boundary between egocentric and egoist. So use them carefully and understand them also carefully. Now there are other words also which you might come across, like there are people who are money centric. Okay, so all the decisions or whatever they do in their life, they keep money in the center, like how it is going to give them some money, how it is going to alleviate their financial problems. So there are many money centric people also. There are some power centric people also. So these are popular words which are used: power centric, money centric, egocentric. So you can replace this part of the word with any word you want and keep the centric as it is. So that becomes the focal point of all your actions. Somebody can be knowledge centric also. So he's always concerned about what kind of knowledge he can get from any activity which he is doing in his life. Okay, so anything which is centric, that becomes the main point in your life. So money centric, power centric, knowledge centric people can be, and of course egocentric. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now we move on to the next word, which is egomania. Now we have two important words here, or roots: ego and mania. So mania is a kind of madness. Maybe you know this word, and it's a madness, and it's an obsession. So I think you get the flavor of this word. This is once again a derogatory term, and in fact a pejorative. Pejorative something is highly derogative. So egomaniac, if you call somebody an egomaniac, he's maybe simply mad about his ego. Okay, so this is an extreme degree of being egoist and egotist and egocentric, all of these things, to an extent of madness. So there are very some people who are extremely egoistic, extremely egotist, and extremely egocentric also. And we talk about different. So in history, we have so many examples of egomaniac, and the person will be called egomaniac. Egomania is the noun, and egomaniac is the person who has a very large ego. And these people are generally the people of power. So in history, you have certain examples like Hitler was called an egomaniac. Okay, so people having very extremely huge ego. Hitler, Napoleon, Alexander, egomaniac people, they were called. Okay, so all the dictators basically, okay, they have big, quite big ego. All the dictators, even today, some, in some countries, some presidents or prime ministers, if they are disliked by their followers, they are called egomaniac. Okay, because they want people to do whatever they want. Okay, so from their perspective, they are termed as egomaniac. Okay, so this is also a negative term which you can simply remember or understand as being an extreme egoist, extreme egotist, and extremely egocentric person. So egomaniac, this is the word. And then we have ego theist also, which is not there in your book, but this is again becoming a very popular word these days. Ego theist. So I thought this should be discussed. And if you can see, it has two roots, ego and theos. Now theos is God. Yeah, mania. So mania means frenzy also. Yeah, so frenzy is a kind of madness. Like this word is used in an informal way also. Like if you have people say that if you have ice cream mania, then you are mad about ice cream. If you have book mania, then you are mad about book.
One word is pizza mania.
Pizza mania, of
Pizza
course,
mania is delicious
delicious.
food.
And this is not, see again, this word is also not much derogatory in sense. So like these people will say that pizza mania is there, so they can say it's good also, you should come to our restaurants again and again. So pizza mania, burger mania. Okay, so many opportunities are there. So the whole gamut of words or word is open for you. So see, that's the benefit of this book. I'm just giving you the root, and now you come across those words and try to identify the roots and to know their meanings properly. Okay, and then ego.
So can we replace mania by frenzy?
No, we don't.
Is it right
No,
or not?
generally we don't do that. See, frenzy is not a root, and frenzy will come when we try to explain certain things. Okay, ego frenzy word we don't generally find it. Ego mania we find. Okay, but when
Okay.
we are explaining things, then we can of course say madness. Okay, of course we can say, but that would be a simple explanation. Like if I say he's mad about his ego, so this is exactly what I mean by saying egomania. But I told you, maybe you missed that part, that this book will teach us to be economical. Jada words ko, it will give you come words. Okay, so in that sense. So now it's up to you. You become more aware of these particular words and try to find their meaning and try to guess their meanings also. So I hope that will help you. Okay, let me come back to this ego theist, which is there. So two roots are there, ego and theos, and theos is an important root, which means God. Okay, now ego you already know is I. So when somebody says that I is God or I am God, okay, that person is an ego theist. So in fact, we know from our culture that there are many people, good people also and bad people also, especially monks and sadhus, who claim that they are God. So their ego is blown up to such an extent that they consider or they behave like they are God. So they are called ego theist. And there will be in our next session a complete discussion on the word theos. From theos we have so many words, but since we have limited time, so I'm not discussing those things here. Badme will talk about the different words that we derive from theos. But wherever you find this word theos, it simply has to do something with God. So ego theist is a person who thinks that his ego or his ego has been transformed into nothing but God. Okay. Now this last word is here, which is called alter ego. Alter ego. Now this also has two words. Now alter means change, or it also, or forget about this change. Alter means other. The exact word would be alter, other. So this is a Latin word alter and it means other. And sometimes you will find that Latin or Greek words, they sound also similar with English words like alter, other. So this is called cognate. So alter word cognates with other. Alter, other. So from alter you have English word other. In simple Hindi or Sanskrit you would call it anya. Okay, anya. Now what is this idea of alter ego? Now ego is once again I or self. Okay. So you might have come across in your life that whatever kind of personality you have, there are some people who are exactly like you. There are some people who are, excuse me, yeah,
Hello.
yeah. Can you hear me all?
Yeah, you're not audible. Hello.
Am I audible right now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but your voice is
Yeah, I got a call, so maybe that's why.
your voice is not coming properly.
It's okay, maybe all of you mute yourself, and I got a call, that's why there was an interruption. It's okay. So alter ego I was talking about, there are people, maybe your friends or maybe from your community or maybe from your relation, who are exactly like you. They have same likings, they have same dislikings, or they have same tendencies, and most probably they are your friends also. So we call them as our alter ego. So you can, how do we use this word, that so and so person is my alter ego. Okay, so almost similar in nature and features also and thinking also. So if somebody is an alter ego of you or of yours, then he is a person who is quite similar to you. Okay. Now, this word is important because alter root is used in many other words also of English. And let us quickly have a look of those words. I hope.
I could not understand that alter ego word. So could you please explain it again?
Yeah, I will try. I'll come back to
Uh,
that. Yeah, I will come back to
I
that.
think alter ego means something different from ego.
Yeah,
Can we say that?
it's a positive and it's a neutral term. Alter ego is
no,
a person.
my concern is that how we can use this word
Yeah,
in.
I'm explaining. So we say, देखिए, when you find somebody quite similar to you, okay,
Mhm.
then you simply say that he is my alter ego. जैसे जैसा मैं हूँ वैसा वो भी है.
She is my alter ego or he is my alter ego.
Exactly like that.
The person with similar qualities, I think.
Yeah, people which have similar qualities. और यहाँ पे ego becomes a metaphor. That person is having the same
Okay.
ego as you are having.
Okay. It's
Okay.
like same qualities
Yeah,
that
same.
you have.
And we use this word to describe a person always who is exactly like you. Okay.
Okay.
And another uses I tell you,
Alter ego, it is a terminology
it's a word.
or
Okay. I give you another use. How do we use this? See, sometimes there are many people are there in history, okay, who are dead, but there are many people who are in present also who have the exact qualities like those people. Okay. So we call them also as the alter ego of those particular people who existed in history. I give you one example, like Anna Hazare is the alter ego of Gandhi. Hmm? Okay, because he resembled or he showed us a Gandhian way of doing things. So this word was also used for him when we had a kind of big revolution in our country. So Anna Hazare is the alter ego of Gandhi. So he's almost similar to Gandhi. Okay, so we can pick up certain people from history also, and if there are people whose qualities are matching with the qualities of those people in the history, then we say that these people are alter ego. Okay,
okay.
I hope this is clear now.
Yes.
Yeah. So alter simply means, now I come back to this root. So this is a root and this means other. Now you see that from this word, many other words, how they are constructed. So we talked about egoist, remember, who is concerned about himself. Now there is a term which is just the other side of the coin, which is altruist. So altruist is the opposite of egoist. So if a person is altruist, he is concerned about other people. He is not concerned about himself. He thinks about other people. He cares for other people. He does a lot of charity. He helps other people. So once again, this is a positive word. If you say that somebody is an altruist, it's a good person. So I hope you have come across this word, which is altruist. But I give you now the root of this word also. In this word, you have this alter, which means other, and altruist, literally means is a person who is concerned about the interest of other people. So it is just the opposite of egoist, and it's of course it's a positive word. So all the good people in history who cared about other people, and all the good politicians, all the good leaders who care about other people, they are called altruist. Altruist, egoist and altruist, they are just opposite. The one who is concerned about I is egoist, the one who is concerned about others is altruist. Now we have this second word, which is alternate, and this word also probably you know. So alternate is when you make or when you skip basically to another, skip to other or another. So this is called alternate. Like if I say that we'll have our classes every alternate day. So how this word is used, alternate day. So alternate day means by skipping one day, एक दिन छोड़कर उसके अगले दिन. So that is called alternate day. Alternate Monday can be there. So alternate Monday is not every Monday, but one Monday and then skipping one Monday. Alternate years can be. So in fact, this is something which comes in 2 years. Okay. So something is there in this year and it will not happen next year, but next to next year. So that thing is happening in alternate years. Okay. So wherever you use this word, alternate means you choose one and then you skip one and then you choose one and then you skip one, just like this. Like alternate candidates, एक एक करके, okay, one by one or by skipping one. So this kind of connotation is there when we talk about the word alternate. And if you see carefully, here we have this root, which simply means other. So skipping other, alternate. Okay.
Al Alternative. There
That's
is one
different.
word is
Yeah,
alternative.
that is
It's
different.
like other choice or other option.
That is different. Alternate is something
Okay,
completely different from alternative. Good that
alternative. Okay.
you pointed out this.
Mhm.
Alternative is a choice always. Simple synonym is there for alternative means choice. अगर आपके पास दो अल्टरनेटिव हैं तो आपके पास दो चॉइसेस हैं, लेकिन हम अल्टरनेटिव किसी अल्टरनेट जो है इट इज अ डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ समथिंग दैट इज हैपनिंग आफ्टर स्किपिंग समथिंग दैट बिकम्स अल्टरनेट. एंड व्हेन यू हैव
Uh, uh,
अल्टरनेटिव और
Alternate day, like if today is Monday, then alternate day is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
yeah, so suppose I say
Okay.
that I will take classes on alternate days, then I will take one class on Monday, then I will skip Tuesday, I will take once again another class
Hmm.
on Wednesday, like that.
Okay.
So that is used
Hmm.
in the sense of skipping. Other का वहां मतलब हो जाता है skipping. And
Okay.
here
छोड़ के.
हाँ, यहाँ
Hmm.
alternative is a completely different word which simply means choices which you have available between you with you.
Okay. But alternative is derived from alternate.
Of course here also alter main root is there alter, इसका मतलब फिर से other हो गया,
Hmm.
and here you have other choices simply.
Okay. Natives means choices.
अभी तो
Alternative. Native.
हाँ हाँ नेटिव है कि choices हैं. Like see, you are about to learn English language or
Hmm.
so you have so many teachers who are available. So I will say that you have so many alternatives. You can study from YouTube, you can study from me also, you can study from books also. Within books you have
Hmm.
different alternatives. तो वहां पे alternative means choices, but alternate means something which is happening after skipping one point.
Okay.
So two different words,
Alternate.
but they have quite similar spelling, and root is also same. इसमें भी other है, इसमें भी alter है, which means other, but uses are different, and we have to be careful about these things. Okay.
Okay.
So I think this difference is clear. And then we have this third word, which is altercation. Now here also we have this word root, which is other, and cation is you can say a chat in a very formal way. I will say it's a chat, or it's a dialogue, or it's a dispute also. Okay, so like you have the word dictation, so here we have ation, cation. So cation word जहां भी आ जाएगा वहां पे कुछ कहा जा रहा है, something has to be concerned or associated with saying something. Okay, so now I come to the meaning of this word. Altercation means a verbal dispute.
Then vacation, there is not
That is different.
there is not anything like that.
Yeah, we'll talk about those things.
So
We'll find those things. Okay, जहां पे नहीं दिख रहा है वहां पे ढूंढेंगे तो मिल जाएगा.
अच्छा.
Or it is not always necessary that you find those things. Sometimes one word will have so many other meanings also.
No, just all of a sudden this
Yeah,
word
it's okay, it's okay.
came to my mind.
So
That's
sometimes
why.
any root is there which can have some other meaning also. Okay, वो भी हो सकता है, और वहां पर भी हम लोग जाएंगे, जैसे वोकेशन या वैकेशन, तो वहां पर भी कुछ ना कुछ उससे संबंधित आ सकता है. कोई जरूरी नहीं है, आ भी सकता है, नहीं भी आ सकता है. Okay, we'll see that. Okay, so altercation, coming back to this word, altercation का मतलब होता है when a verbal dispute. Okay, and also a noisy one. So इसका literal meaning हो गया when you are having dispute with others. और इसका normal sense में meaning क्या होता है कि other के साथ तो dispute होता ही है always, and these two things are there. It becomes noisy and it becomes verbal. Okay, so noisy is there, like both the parties or many other parties will shout at each other. And another thing is that they will only shout, they will not harm each other, maybe physically, or they will not beat each other. So dispute, verbal dispute, noisy dispute, and the kind of disputes that you have on news channels. Okay, so when debates, they become very quite hot and quite steamy, so we say that when they start fighting each other with the use of words, then those things are called, they had altercations. Okay, the participants in the debate had altercations. So debate is a positive word. Okay, just like vaad vivad, but altercation is that, you know, it's a kind of fight, verbal dispute. Okay, and a noisy one. You forget all your limitations, you forget all manners, so that is called altercation, jhagda, verbal jhagda, and a noisy one. Okay, so that is altercation, and we have the root other. And the next word is alteration.
Okay. Altercation doesn't consider hathapai. Okay.
No, it's not, because this is verbal. That is what I mean to say.
Okay. Okay.
हाथापाई हो जाएगा, that will be something else.
Hmm.
Okay, वहाँ पे violence आ गया. Altercation है, बस वाद विवाद चलता है. So in meetings you find, suppose high level meeting is going on, people disagree with each other, so they might have altercations. On news channels you have altercations. Okay, with your friends also you can have altercations.
Mm.
With policemen we have altercations when they stop us to check our license.
Mm.
Okay, we can have verbal dispute. So this is simply the meaning of altercation, a verbal dispute. But now here you get the root also, like fighting with other people. Okay, literal meaning, etymological. Okay, now there is one word which is alteration. ये hyphen लगा दिया है just for the sake of easiness. Alteration is something different, and this is called change. Alteration means change. अब यहाँ पे root जो word है, this is other, alter, other. So when you take other course of action, or when you choose another path, this is called alteration. So some change is happening. So in all the changes which are taking place, what happens there? You choose something else, something becomes another, then only some change will happen. So alteration is change. Okay, so following some other format or going into some other direction is called alteration. Unaltered is unchanged. Like in constitutions, we have constitution, our constitution, we have many alterations, we have many changes from time to time. Okay, and this is used in case of dresses also. You go to buy a dress, and if you think that that dress is a bit oversized or it's not fitting you, then you go to the tailor and then you ask the tailor to alter it. Okay, alter it means change it so that it suits you. So the simple synonym of alteration is change. In history also you say that some people have altered the course of history. Some people have altered the course of history. In present also you can say that so and so leader or our PM will alter the course of our economy. Okay, so alter means change. And there can be alterations in weather pattern also. The weather has altered, changed. Okay, so this means alteration means change. And the point was that here we have our root, which is other. So whenever any change is happening, तो कोई pattern चलता रहता है, then it changes suddenly. Okay, altered. Any plan can be altered. You have some plan, if that is changed, then this is called alteration in plan. Okay, so altruistic, the one who is concerned about other. Alternate means skipping one another. Altercation is fight with other. Alteration is simply change. And finally alternative is having options. So these are some words which have very fine distinctions, but they are used quite popularly, and in almost every writings you will find something with alter. Okay, and you can use these words, but use them with careful deliberation. Okay, so we have talked about ego, we have talked about alter, and so shall we stop here, because there are so many things which need to be finished. Do you want to continue or you want me to stop?
Yeah, I think it is quite enough. So
Quite enough, yeah.
uh, no.
Just hang on for a minute, all of you.
if
Okay.
if
So
other
very interesting and very informative session, and
Thank you.
we are going to do well
Okay,
We are
so
going to
and
do
each and every day.
yeah, right. So I'm sorry that I could not complete all these sessions because we spent a lot of time in setting up the things. So I'm sorry that at this point you cannot practice the exercises which are there. Okay, because we have done just two routes. अगर दो route और कर लेते तो एक chapter कर सकते थे, but we could not do that. So it's okay because I think many people still do not have the book. So maybe tomorrow also we will have a session.
That,
We'll
yes,
complete two more
we
routes, and then you
we
can
have
directly jump to the exercises. Now it's up to you.
I have the book, but I'm not understanding books. मतलब क्या बोलूं मैं, बुक का जो पूरा पैटर्न है मैं थोड़ा समझ नहीं पा रही हूँ, तो इसको थोड़ा सा
हाँ वो आ
मतलब
जाएगा.
कहाँ से
आप अभी that is what I am saying. अभी आप बुक लेकर रख दीजिए. Let me take one more session. Then I will give you two more routes and the related words. Then after that you will be able to solve the exercises. और आपको पूरी बुक में कुछ नहीं करना है. Just simply solve the exercises.
ठीक है.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Because other things we are doing here. Theory, basically understand that theory is there and practical is there. Theory I am doing, practical you will have to do. और अभी एक भी practical नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि हमने theory थोड़ा कम की है. दो रूट और करने थे, अगर वो हो जाते तब आराम से हो जाता. But no problem, we'll do it tomorrow.
Okay then. Yeah. Yes.
But one important thing is there. अगर आपके पास बुक है तो आप लोग देख भी सकते हैं. देखिए इसमें एक 8-10 पेज में शुरू में ही कंटेंट के बाद लिखा है हाउ टू यूज दिस बुक एंड यूज दिस बुक फॉर मैक्सिमम बेनिफिट, है ना. तो 8-10 पेज में इसने बहुत सारी बातें की हैं, क्या क्या है इसमें, व्हाट आर द बेनिफिट्स. अगर आप लास्ट में उसके देखिए तो बिल्कुल जिस्ट उसने लिखा है कि लास्ट जो लाइन है उसकी, उसमें वो कह रहा है कि
How to use the psychology.
हाँ, उसमें बहुत सारी बातें he is talking about the author, but at the end he is simply saying that the most important thing is that develop a routine and stick to it. एक रूटीन बनाइए और उस पे बिल्कुल डटे रहिए. कोई भी बेनिफिट्स काम नहीं करेंगे
I can't see.
unless we finish
I
this.
can't see that.
It's okay, I just read it out for you.
Okay.
So many things are there, but he's asking us to be diligently working on this. Okay, and you don't need to read the theory part right now. एक बार once when I have finished the entire book, then if you wish, then you can read the theory part, and probably then only you will be able to understand all the things which are there.
Okay.
Okay, so this is one of the biggest challenges which people face when they try to finish this book. This theory becomes difficult. And this theory is all too in English, so that becomes a great challenge. Anyway, now it's open for you, all the other people also who want to say anything, and then we'll finish in 5 minutes. Then we'll end the meeting in 5 minutes. Okay, over to you other people who want to say anything. Hindi, English, किसी में भी कह सकते हैं. I have unmuted you all. You can speak anything, and then we'll wind up in 5 minutes.
So
अल्टर एक्शन का एक बार फिर से मतलब बता दियो मेरे को.
किसका?
अल्टर एक्शन.
So alter action is not there, altercation is there. And altercation is a verbal dispute. Okay, anyone else?
so what is the timing of this class?
Timing tomorrow
I
will
think 8:45 or 9 o'clock?
no, same time, 9 o'clock, 9 to 10.
9 o'clock, 9 to 10. Okay.
And be on time, maybe try to come 10 minutes before so that we can set
Yeah.
up all the
Okay.
things, and in 1 hour we'll try to finish the
Okay.
thing. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you all of you. And any thing or any suggestion you have, we all have our WhatsApp group also. And
I think someone texted that 8:45 class for class timing.
yeah, it's okay. We can decide on WhatsApp also. So we end our session here,
Okay.
and time we can
Mhm.
decide later. But for the time being, it's 9 o'clock.
Okay.
8:45, 9.
And please be on time.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. That is my fault. So there's sorry,
This
and
message was directed for Khushbu only,
I'll be
Not
on
for
time.
you, not for you. It's for me also.
for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, so it happens. The first session is always disturbing. But
Uh,
from tomorrow onwards,
Actually,
try to
in
be on
night
time.
there was not certainty.
It's okay. It's okay. Abhi, okay, we'll try to be on time, and we have to
Okay.
complete this Anushthan. We have to, whatever we have started, we need to finish this. Be regular,
Yes.
and
Hmm.
we'll decide when to have classes, maybe daily or maybe alternate days, और मे बी
Okay.
हफ्ते में एक दो दिन हॉलीडे करेंगे, ब्रेक करेंगे.
Mhm.
Okay, but tomorrow we'll have, क्योंकि tomorrow I will have to give you 2 more routes, and then maybe I'll take a gap of 1 day so that in that 1 day you can complete the exercises.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay then.
Okay, so thank you all of you. Message me on
Thank
the group
you.
whatever you feel like.
Namaste to all of you.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
bye bye, take care,
Okay.
stay
Bye.
safe.
Bye.
Namaste all of you.
Namaste.
Namaste.